Hello everyone and welcome back to Uniquely You. Today makes my second episode for this podcast. I'm so excited. I just feel so happy that I'm doing this. I really feel like I'm called to this. Although I still be nervous in front of this camera. I don't know what it is, why when I start doing my podcast, I get real nervous. Because I record YouTube videos and I be good. I get up here and start talking to y'all and my mind just go blank. It's crazy. Today we have more of a structure with this episode. I feel like last episode was very all over the place. I did hit a few points that I wanted to, but it was just overall a big mess. I wanted to post it because I feel like I wanted to honor the whole message that I'm pushing, which is living for yourself. That is who I am. I'm a person that go crazy. When I talk, I can go on different rants about a whole lot of things. And I feel like it was just kind of funny to have my first episode be the way it was. So I threw it up there. A little catch up on me. I've been chilling, journaling, reading, doing my little thing I usually do for real. My cousin's birthday is at 12, and so we might be going out tomorrow. Hopefully he does something, but we don't know yet. So we're gonna see about that. But yeah, guys, other than that, I've just been chilling, in the house or at the library. Today's episode will be about the power of reflection and learning from your own stories. Self-reflection can play such a big part on the journey, especially when you're trying to live for yourself. And I feel like anyone who really takes up the courage to start that journey should definitely start with self-reflection. And in my last episode, Finding Yourself in Solitude, I kind of talked about self-reflecting and being in your own alone time and just taking all your emotions in and going through them. I talked about that a lot, and I feel like self-reflection just plays the biggest role in general in the whole living for yourself journey that I'm trying to push out right now. Growing up myself, I was a very angry, hot-headed kid. I was very easily offendable. You could literally piss me off in 2.5 seconds. I was just a real angry kid. And I remember just not wanting to be in that anymore and kind of wanting to just drift off away from that person that I was and kind of learn why do I act this way and why do I do these things. And I remember I was in 9th, 10th grade, I think, and I was sitting down in my room and I'm just why do I act this way? What is going on that makes me do this? Why do I think like this? I was just getting real deep in my head. I ended in a very terrible way. I had a very big mental breakdown, but I left that situation with more clarity of who I was and what I wanted and who I didn't want to be. And I feel like anyone who really wants to take the journey of living for themselves should definitely take time to self-reflect and learn who it is they are and what they want to do. Self-reflection itself has helped me so much because now that I've took the time to actually learn who I was and sit down and realize what it is I like and don't like, I can now better manage my life and what I want to be around. Overall, just helped me stay true to who I am. Whenever I was growing up, like I said, I was very angry, but I realized that my environment played a big part in that. So when I got older and I, drifted off from my family, I made sure that I've created an environment that was a little more safe, more, quiet, more peaceful. I talked about that in my last episode as well, how I really prioritized my peace and alone time. And I feel like I wouldn't have done that if I didn't take the time to self-reflect and realize what it is that I wanted. So definitely self-reflect and definitely take the time to learn who you are because it plays such a big role in the future. Now, it can be very hard to self-reflect, definitely because when it comes to sitting in your own emotions, that can be a very good or bad thing. Our mind can be our best friend or our worst enemy. So when it comes to self-reflection, it can be a tick or tack type of thing. And I feel like all of us can't just do it the way everybody else does. So that can be a very hard thing for somebody. It was very hard for me, especially because I couldn't process my emotions really good. So I have just so many racing thoughts going in my head, but I don't know what to apply what to what. And it just can be a very big mess in general. So if you guys are looking for a few ways to, just find ways to self-reflect in your life and add into your routine, I will be giving you some today. Now, my first main thing, at least for me personally, is reading. Like I said in my last episode and in this one, I prioritize my own space and just a peaceful environment. And whenever I started reading and going to the library, I realized that I was getting that out of doing that. Whenever I went to the library and I would read, I would always leave the library feeling more inspired, more motivated, a better sense of myself and just feeling real good to just be living as myself. I wouldn't have learned that if I didn't sit down and like I said, take the time to actually learn who I was. Another thing can be journaling. I feel like journaling can be a tick or tack thing as well because some folks don't know what to write down. But like I say all the time, just write down whatever comes in your head. I don't care if the thought was I wore a red and green shoe today. Write it down in that journal because when you write down everything that you're thinking in your head, you can kind of just see it on paper and just connect things overall. When I first started journaling, it really helped me so much. Even if you don't just writing down thoughts crazy or you want to be more organized, you can find prompts on Pinterest, TikTok, and you just find something that resonates with you and get into it. So definitely journal as well. It can be a very big source of relief in general. So definitely take that up if you're into that. Another thing will be walking in nature. I know it sounds crazy, but sometimes our environment can also play a part in how we feel. You ever had that feeling where your room is kind of messy and you feel real cluttered and you just feel real closed in, but when you clean your room up, you can think more clearly? It's kind of like that. When it comes to our environment, it can play such a big role in our life, and I feel like that's why it's so important to make sure that we are creating good environments for ourselves. So if you guys can't do that, if you're in a space where you can't just think clearly and just, be in a safe space, just, take that walk. Go out, walk a little bit. I don't care where you at. Just go somewhere else, anywhere you can. And that's easier said than done because a lot of us have situations where we can't do that. But if you can, I just recommend truly doing that. It just plays a big part in your own sense of self and just relief in general, because if you're around a lot of negative people or just in a spot that's very negative and you go out and go into spaces that are more lightful and more just safe spaces in general, you can just have a better raw sense of yourself. Now, self-reflection, it's a real tricky thing because when you are self-reflecting, you got to realize that you can't just self-reflect on the positive moments in your life. You have to dig real deep on unfortunately, and get into those bad things too. You are not always a good guy. We are not always a good guy. And honestly, I don't even believe in the good guy, bad guy thing. I feel like all of us are shaped from different experiences and we all have our own different perspectives on life. And so there can't really be a good or bad guy. But just know that you weren't always like a hero in someone else's story. It's important to make sure that we go back and realize what it is we did. And just like if you don't want to be associated with that type of thing no more, it's important to acknowledge it and then change it instead of just trying to push it back to the back of our head and like it never happened. Because in the end, in the future, whenever you are going on this journey, you're not actually being yourself and then for yourself, you're kind of like playing a character because you're choosing not to acknowledge yourself fully. And overall, whenever you are like, you know, taking this journey, you're gonna feel like you're being very fake. Like I remember when I did my self-care journey, whenever I did my self-care journey, I was like 15, 16. And I remember that I just went on TikTok, looked at a self-care jar and typed in like just so much self-care shit, threw it in the jar and said, I'm doing the self-care journey. I didn't really take time to actually like sit down and be like, this is what I want to do. I had to really get into it as I got older, and that's when I kind of started to see results in myself. Now I'm not the same person I was back then. Like if you ask anybody in my family now, they'll tell you that back then I was a hothead, I was crazy, I turned up, I did crazy things, and now I be chilling. Like I'm just a real chill guy with a real big personality. Also, when it comes to making time for these self-reflection methods, it's important to try to incorporate it into your daily routine. It's really hard to just get up every day and be like, I'm going to the library. It's hard to get up every day and be like, you know, I'm going to journal today. Like it's easy to forget as well. So make sure that you're just incorporating it slowly into your schedule and routine. That way you don't feel overwhelmed or like feel like you're not doing good enough just because like you're not doing it every day. It's okay to take time for yourself. It's okay to, you know, slowly do things. Now, the one thing that I love about journeys like this and reflection in general is that you can always do it. You can self-reflect on yourself from a week ago. I feel like when you make progress in something and like you go back and look at where you were before and look at yourself now, it really proves to you that you can really do something as long as you stick to it. And I think that's what self-reflection really is like deep down. It's also important that when we are self-reflecting to not be very judgmental while we're doing it. I feel like a lot of us can be hard on ourselves, me included, because I'm definitely one of those people. And it's important to make sure when you're doing things like this that we're not judging ourselves in the process. Although this was somewhere that you were before and you did do this one time, that doesn't mean it defines who you are now and just your whole identity in general. It's just important to acknowledge it. But just because you acknowledge it doesn't mean you have to be that as well. Acknowledge that it is a part of you and that you can change it, but just don't try to push it to the back of your head and make it like, you know, it was not that deep, it never happened, because that doesn't help out in the long run. I feel like it just, like I said before, it just makes you feel like you're playing a character and it's not really genuine. Self-reflection for me personally played a big part in my life. Like now that I'm at the place that I am now in my life, I feel like if I wouldn't have self-reflected, I wouldn't have been here now. I wouldn't be making this podcast now. I wouldn't be just the person I am today. I'm just so glad that I took the time to actually learn myself and figure out what it is I want to do and what not to do. And now that I'm older and I'm doing it, it's just a real rewarding feeling to know that I put the work in for myself and really sat down with myself in those hard times and went through that, and now I'm here today and it's like overall, I feel like our experience shaped who we are today, and it's just really important to make sure that we acknowledge the experiences. That way, if we do want to change and get out of that we have the knowledge to do that. You can't expect to live a journey like fully for yourself if you don't know who you are. And I feel like self-reflection just is like the key to just learning who you are and just like what it is you want to do and what not to do. So I guess at the end of this episode, guys, like I said, I'm still real nervous. I don't know why. And I actually scripted today, but I'm still talking real fast. I gotta get out of that. I talk so fast. Like, honestly, when it comes to this video, I might have to cut so many clips out because I be talking so fast to where even I don't be understanding what I'm saying. Like, it's crazy sometimes. But overall, I thought this episode was real cool. Real short again. I'm trying to start off real short because I'm still starting the podcast right now, so I don't want to create these long episodes. I'm just trying to get you guys to like get a good feeling for who I am first. And then like over time, the episodes will get longer and longer. But right now, I'm keeping it real short and simple. I don't know how to feel about this, guys. I feel like I did cool, but I don't know. Let me know what you guys think of this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed. And let's just hope next time I'm not as nervous as this time. It definitely wasn't as bad as the first time. We can all agree on that. It wasn't as bad as the first time, but I'm still real nervous. I'm still talking real fast. I'm still just not into it fully, but I feel like I'm coming out of a comfort zone that I've always been in. Did that make sense? Hope you guys enjoy, and I will see you guys in my next video.